Morning peeps, good morning everyone, how's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. Let's have a quick look and see if there's any other news before we talk all things Tank Davis. We'll talk a bit of Benavidez as well. Let's have a quick look. After upsetting Subriel Matias, Liam Parrow declares he is the captain of the junior welterweights. I think that captaincy lies with Teofimo Lopez, but we'll get to that. I'm going to do a separate Liam Parrow video. Fantastic win. And look, there's an argument that he is the guy because Matias was obviously feared, but I think Teofimo Lopez is number one right now. What we got here? Ben Whittaker accuses Ezra Arinyeka of turning the fight into the UFC. Yeah, there were elbows, there were headbutts. That one headbutt when Arinyeka's walking back to his corner, I know Ben taunted him, but that there, I mean, you should get thrown out for that. I'm happy he didn't because I wanted to see the fight, but yeah, that wasn't great. Injured David Benavidez confirms his return into super middleweight. We're going to talk about Benavidez in a bit. Moses Italma easing into life in the spotlight. I'm a massive fan. Massive fan. Like I've always said, in terms of my prospects, guys that I think are going to be potential superstars, there's something about his aura. And you forget he's still a kid. I think he's, what is he, 19, 20? There's something about him where I feel like he's got this superstar quality. You know, not everyone has to sell a press conference and chat shit. He just has this, I'm going to fuck you up mentality, attitude, and I love it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with him next. I know he's desperate to fight either Fabio Wardley or Fraser Clark. He thinks he's there. I would prefer to see him fight the winner or even loser of Sol Dakers versus David Adelaide. I think that's kind of where he is, and then we'll see. All right, let's talk about Tank Davis getting the job done against Frank Martin. He's just a superstar, like a bona fide superstar. This discussion about face of boxing, I don't know if he's that, but there can't be more than 2 or 3 guys above him. I think CANELO, sometimes I do think Fury, AJ, etc. I don't know Inoue's star power in that Asia market, but Tank Davis just brings out the stars. As I said, I think he's such a good talker now because it's just him. It was almost a case of he was behind Floyd and Floyd spoke for him like Tank couldn't speak. Now all of a sudden with Floyd gone, I feel like we are seeing the best of Gervonta. Floyd must kick himself. Look, Floyd's worth $1 billion, so I'm sure he's not home crying, but he must kick himself because when sort of Floyd kicked off this Floyd Promotions, whatever, Floyd Mayweather Promotions, obviously Badu Jack was there, Ishe Smith, Gervonta, there's a couple more as well that have just skipped my brain. Badu Jack went on to do really good things. Look, they've all went on to do good things, but Gervonta's the one, right? He's the one. He's the guy that's going to move the needle when it comes to pay-per-view. He's just got so many good things going for him. And he gets in the ring and knocks people out. And that's what people want. Like, I am a fan of seeing guys like Bam Rodriguez and Estrada and Chocolatito and Loma. I love that. But casual boxing fans, people that dip their toes in and out of the sport, just want to be reminded of Mike Tyson in the 80s. And this guy, yes, albeit a lightweight, is like Mike Tyson. He gets in there and just gets you. Like, he gets you. Like, by the way, he can box. He can box. He sometimes... He almost like now he's so much trust that he's going to get to you that he sometimes forgoes his boxing quality. Like this guy, if he really wants to just stand and have a boxing lesson with you, he could have done that with Frank Martin, right? He's got way more experience than Frank, but it's almost though it's not. I'm gonna take one to get one off, but it's a bit of that. It's a bit of a case of okay, I'm gonna tire you out. Yes, I'm gonna shell up and then watch. And he trusts his chin. He certainly trusts his power. And those two things can take you a long way. And obviously it's taken him to a point where he's at the pinnacle of the sport. I thought Frank caused him problems. As I said, Frank would. But there are a couple of things that happened. A, Frank felt the power. And B, the gas tank seemed to run empty like that. Like that. Frank at the weigh-in looked like a dead man walking, didn't he? And I don't know if there's a bit of tactical... nous there by Gervonta. Like normally what you guys see is ceremonial weigh-ins. So the fighters have already weighed in the morning and then they basically come out a few hours later after they've rehydrated, hence why you don't normally see the abs, because they rehydrated to whatever. And yeah, that's what you normally see. It looked like from the weigh-in that there was no ceremonial weigh-ins, and that was the legit weigh-in. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So the weigh-ins that you guys see where everyone pretends they don't know the weight, that's bullshit. There's a weigh-in earlier in the morning, and that's what normally happens. Whereas this one looked like a legit weigh-in. So it's almost like they were pushing Frank Martin as much as they could because they knew that he is very tight at the weight, whereas Gervonta is very good at 135. So yeah, Frank looked awful at the weigh-ins, and I just felt like he had only a few rounds in him. And for those few rounds, he looked good. But eventually, you're going to have to somehow get off what's like a fucking swarming bee in Gervonta. And if you don't have the power to fucking dent him, good luck. If you over-respect him as well, good luck. And I feel like he can sense that when people are trying to be friendly and over-respect him. And that's why I'm desperate to see Shakur Stevenson. Shakur ain't giving him no respect. Zero. Nothing. And Shakur will go into that ring thinking, I can 100% beat you. Like, I feel like a lot of these fighters are going into the ring with hope rather than just, we're going to get it done. Like Pitbull came in with, I'm going to get it done, and we saw how much he pushed Gervonta. A lot of these other fighters are coming in with hope, it seems, where Shakur Stevenson will enter that ring with just sheer belief. Like he will think, of course I'm going to get it done. I'm the favorite. In his head, he will say he's the favorite. And a lot of people will say that as well. Loma will have that same attitude. Loma will have it. Even Loma now will have that same attitude. That's why these are the only two fights we need to see next. Like we can't allow Gervonta to get away with not fighting Loma or Shakur. You know what the issue is as well? I'm part of the issue. I'll be honest with you. I'm part of the issue. And I say that as a broadcaster that works in these events. Some of these fighters don't get pushed when it comes to questioning about their career and the paths they're taking. And I think that's because a lot of the mainstream media don't necessarily cover the sport of boxing. They don't. Like, I could be wrong here, but I mean, I don't know. The New York Times are going to be at these events, you know what I mean? Or the Boston Globe, you know what I mean? And they're the ones that will push the questions and don't give a fuck about what the fighters say, or they can't ask questions. You know what I mean? Like normally when you go to these pressers, post and pre, it's the broadcasters, maybe a couple of journos. The majority of the room will be filled with the YouTubers who won't ask those questions. They won't. And look, this is not a dig at them because I get it. Because you ask those questions, next time when you try and get an interview, it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very difficult. But I almost feel like a proper journo will ask the questions like, oh, why haven't you fought Loma yet? Like, why have you not fought Loma for 5 years? Why are you not in the ring with Shakur Stevenson? Like, genuine questions, and push him on the answers, and push him and continually push him. But we don't really get that in boxing. We don't get it. Like, imagine if you could have the football journos that we see over here asking the questions at boxing. That football journos don't give a fuck. They will grill a manager, grill a player. They don't care. Imagine those in boxing. Be a wonderful sport, wouldn't it? It'd be a wonderful sport, but boxing just doesn't have that. And if you are one of those journalists that do push the questions, your ass is getting blocked. You ain't getting an interview again. Trust me, I know about it. I've been there. So yeah, look, we have to see Tank versus Loma or Tank versus Shakur. But look, Tank's an incredible fighter. He sells out arenas, does good numbers on pay-per-view as well. What a star. Honestly, what a star. And I'm liking, as I said at the top, I'm liking this Tank because he's allowed to talk. And as he should be, he's fucking 30, right? But I just prefer it because if Floyd was there, trust me, Floyd is going to try and steal the limelight. By the way, what do you make about Floyd releasing the Devin Haney Gervonta spar in full? I love it. I love the pettiness. I love the childish attitude that Floyd has because these fighters are getting away. All these fighters that, look, we don't ask for sparring videos. We don't ask. We don't even know sometimes that these kids have sparred each other. But these fighters are getting away with clipping up 30 seconds of their best spit in the spar. That's bullshit. Show us everything. Show us everything. And that's why I don't mind Floyd showing it. Like, okay, 1 second. Devin actually had his way with Gervonta. Interesting because Gervonta only clips the 30 seconds. So I don't mind that. And look, that's one fight that, again, could happen, but I just worry about the weight. 140 would be too much, I think, for Gervonta. 135 is way too little now for Devin Haney, so don't expect it. Talking about weights, let's talk about someone that is nicknamed the weight bully. Not his nickname, but that's what people call him. I don't agree with that, but hey, he's a big guy for 168 pounds, and that's David Benavidez, who went up to 175 and beat Gvozdyk. The fight didn't really explode the way I wanted it to. I thought there would be a couple of times where they both sit in the pocket and just swing it out. It didn't really get that. I thought a couple of the scorecards were really harsh on Gvozdyk. I think one was 119, 109, which wasn't a reflection for me of that fight. I think one scorecard was a bit close, which I felt was correct. Obviously, Benavidez won by a couple of rounds, but it wasn't a landslide like 119, 109 suggest. Look, there's always going to be the what next for Benavidez. We know what he wants next, but what is realistically going to be next? So you ain't getting Canelo. It's just not going to happen. For whatever reason, Canelo isn't willing or wanting to fight Benavidez. I personally think Canelo should fight him. I think Benavidez is good. I think Canelo is a special fighter, and I think he showed that there's still a lot left in that Munguia performance. But if you're Benavidez, if you don't get the Canelo fight, there are several options. One, you could stay at 175. I know he spoke about coming down to 168, which is very interesting. All of a sudden, going up to 175, he's like, my God, 1 second, these guys are the same height and same build as me. Let's go back down. Hence the weight bully thing. But look, if you are going to go there, look, a number of fights we can go from. Munguia, good fight. What a great fight that is, by the way, especially after Munguia rallied back and done well after getting knocked down by Canelo. David Morrell, I know he's got a fight on the Crawford card, but if he gets past that one, as expected, great fight. But hey, Morrell will take that fight just like that. Christian Mbili, who's got a fight against Gervonta, the winner of that fight, right? Mbili, I think will get the job done. Again, another great fight. Berlanga. Could Berlanga get the Canelo ticket? Maybe. If he doesn't, there, another great fight. There are fights out there. Like, let's stop pretending like Canelo's the only fight for him. And if he were to start 175, then you look down that list. I mean, is Beterbiev going to come back in time? If not, surely you throw your hat in the ring to fight Dimitri Bivol. Surely you can do that. So it isn't all doom and gloom, even if you don't get that Canelo big super fight. There are other fights out there, but right now Benavidez is on a nice roll. So it's David Lemieux, Caleb Plant, Demetrius Andrade, and Gvozdyk. That's solid. That's solid work. Let's just stay busy. This is his first fight of 2024. 2023 had a couple. Only had one in 2022. Let's have one more. Let's have one more. Look, I'm being greedy. Let's have two more. What are we? June. I think he's injured now though, isn't he? So it'll probably be one more before the end of the year. And the one more should be one of the names I mentioned. It should be. There shouldn't be no issue whatsoever in him fighting any of those guys. All right, guys, girls, we are done. Gervonta, congratulations on a big win. Not that you're watching this video, but I thought I should just say it anyway. Frank Martin will come again. He'd have to jump to 140. Like, he looked like a dead man walking on the scales. Like, it's so bad. Like, what did these guys walk around at? Because he looked frightening. His cheekbones, like his eyes. And he was crazy on the stage, and as he's weighed in, he's trying to get water, he's trying to get hydrated, electrolytes in him, and the lady just keeps on asking him questions. He's trying to walk away. You can see his mouth is dry. Man, they drained that brother. Hopefully he got paid. Hopefully he's healthy and he's okay. And we'll see him next at 140. He'll be a good addition to what is a crazy 140-pound division. Peace.